Victim's coming out, victim's coming out.
The fire ground is dynamic. Priorities can change by the second. This series is about our first priority, life priority. We'll hear from the firefighters that have made a grab in live fire conditions, the decisions they made and the lessons they learned. Listen as they tell you about their experience. Learn from their mistakes and their successes. Expect fire and expect victims. Expect the unexpected and plan accordingly. This is Life Priority. All right, Firefighter Schumacher, so thanks for sitting down with us for the Life Priority series. If you can go ahead and tell us about your grab.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I can remember. I believe it was like 2016, around then. I was working with Bo Levesque that day. I think it was Medic 24 I was working on. And we had just been driving back from dropping a patient off at one of the downtown hospitals. And I remember we were coming back on Highway 80, and we saw a column, pretty heavy black smoke going up off the side of the freeway. It looked like a ways out, so I started kind of looking up to see if anything had got dispatched. Wasn't really seeing anything. So I told my partner, I was like, hey, let's just start driving that way, get there, and we'll see like what it is, see what's going on. I remember we start heading that way, we start hearing a dispatch go out for it. So we ended up adding ourselves to the fire. By the time we showed up, I believe we were either like second or third in on the medic. I think it was over in 19's area, because I remember there was a city engine that was first on scene. I believe like 105, engine 105 was on scene pretty fast too. They were like third or fourth.
We were second on scene. We ran over. The firefighter on that original engine had already pulled the line, so we grabbed an additional line. Me and Sean stretched it over to the entrance to the fire. The firefighter on the engine had already started fighting the fire downstairs.
Medic 24's got a second line. Ready for water! Grab the line. I'll back you up.
110 on the boat.
Hey, get this unit right here.
Engine 19. Just to update you, have 2 to 3 units involved right now. It is running the attic, so I'd recommend a second alarm.
Alright. Hey, look, hit the heat. I'm top. Hey, on the fucking left right here, man.
Hit that heat, knock all that fire down.
Engine 103 is on scene. We have water supply.
Hey, let's get this fucking right here. Let's go. Alright, let's go. Let's go. My partner, Bo Levesque, was on the nozzle. He ended up making a left at the top of the stairs and started putting out the fire in the apartment complex. Looked like the door had been opened because there was a heavy amount of fire blowing out that front second-story apartment.
Hey, pump up the fucking pressure!
Hold on. Hey, we need some more fucking pressure. You got a water?
You're 105 with you, and you're on the upstairs unit or downstairs? 24 is on the land on the upstairs unit. We need more pressure. Command, engine 19, 1 plus good.
There we go.
At that point, when we got to the top of the stairs, I went left into the room where the fire was going, and Sean went right to do a search into the adjacent apartment.
Hey, Bo. While he was doing that, I ended up going and kicking open the door on the apartment to the right on that second floor. And as I kicked it in, the door was kind of involved in smoking. I kind of just yelled in there real fast, "Hey, fire department, is anyone in here?" Kind of peeked in through the smoke, didn't really see anybody. So I went back to my partner to make sure he was all right on the hose line and didn't need me. He still couldn't even advance into the apartment yet on the left. He was still knocking down fire. So I told him, like, "Hey, I'm gonna do a quick search of this apartment."
Fire department! You in here? Yeah. And we got a victim in the second unit, right unit upstairs. Victim in the right unit on the balcony. Get a ladder up here.
I see some lady on the ground. This lady was pretty heavy set. I'd say around like 300 pounds. I start trying to shake her, see if she's conscious or not. At that point, she's kind of mumbling. She's not super responsive. I'm trying to get her to get up and stand up so I can try and walk her out of the apartment. Since she's only like 6 feet from the door, she's making like no effort to stand up at all.
Hey! Hey! Oh, God. We got a fucking victim! Grab her! Get up, get up!
I believe a few more firefighters came up the stairs. We did drag her out to the cement landing on the top floor, and she started screaming. And what I had remembered was that entire stairwell, that entire alcove of the apartment complex was so well involved that cement landing, the cement stairs were so hot that it was probably burning her legs at that point when we dragged her out on the cement. We were finally able to get enough people to lift her up and get her down to the first floor, down to the lawn out front of the alpha side of the apartment complex. And I do believe they did end up adding another medic, because there was another medic that showed up right away with the gurney and ended up transporting her to the hospital.
And we had a long night on Medic 24, and it was earlier in the morning, I'd say, when we were coming back from the hospital. And, we saw the column, and it's time to go. It's time to go to work, even though you're tired. And you never know what's going to be in there. You never know if there's going to be a victim. You never know how the fire is going to present when you see a column. So just being prepared and having the right slides and training to get the job done, whatever it may be.
A few major key takeaways for me was, one, I wasn't really expecting. I've been on a lot of fires before this point, and I've never once expected to find anybody. I think every fire I've been to, I've never encountered anybody in a fire. So it's was almost like a shock to me. And I was almost kind of fumbling, all right, what do I do? I radio us in. Do I just try and drag her out right away? Do I grab my partner? So I was almost confused for a split second. It seemed because I'm never expecting to find anybody. We have, sometimes good visibility, but someone inside that building, it might be a little bit of smoke, and it's just enough for them to be disoriented and confused and go unresponsive. And who knows if she was trying to get out earlier and couldn't open that door or breathed in smoke, or what the deal was. One of the biggest things I kind of realized was it's not always best to bring somebody out, the same part of the structure that was involved. I think it was one of those situations where she didn't need to be immediately removed the way that we went out. And she did have a second floor balcony right there with a slider that I could have dragged her to that, and we could have got a ladder, or I could have dragged her that, got her fresh air, then radioed to command to get more guys up there to help me get her out, instead of one trying to injure myself or injure her, dragging her out the way that I came in. Another big thing is, especially for all the new guys on the medic, it's honestly one of the best jobs when it comes to a fire, because you could be plugged in. You got to be ready for anything. You can get plugged into any situation. You could be driving back from the hospital and be first on a fire. So it's you really kind of mesh into almost any role on fire sometimes, and you just got to be very adaptive and kind of ready for anything.
Fire service is about tradition. One of our traditions is about passing on our experiences and our lessons learned. When we do this, the story doesn't focus on the individual, but the team and the outcome. These lessons are shared so that you can better serve the public and your fellow firefighters. If you have a rescue and you're hesitant to tell your story, remember, the lessons you share may help save someone else's life or your own. Share your story by contacting us at lifepriority@metrofire.ca.gov.